All right, guys, here we're going to talk about The Twilight Zone, Season 3, Episode 30.
I hate this episode.
I found it charming.
It's charming, but I hated it.
I liked the guy who played the liar.
Who is that guy?
I don't know, but the guy who was in the background for a lot of these shots is the barber from the Andy Griffith Show.
Okay, this guy had an Andy Griffith vibe to me, and I'm like, is that Matlock's uncle? Like, what's going on?
Yeah, he definitely has a familiar
weird
look to him,
yeah.
and I enjoyed hearing him ramble on about crap, and he
that was all
definitely
great.
was that part.
Yes.
Like other times I've been like, all right, yeah, that guy's doing it technically, or like that guy has a good pitch. This guy like hit the marks for the actual talking, and he looked like a guy that would be doing that. He was old enough to be a crazy man that everyone just likes to hear his bullshit.
All true things. And I like how you just kept rolling with everything. Well, I attended 39 universities, and goes this whole thing.
But yeah, he really he sold it. And I can see why you didn't like the episode, because like it was like, well, you know, where did this really go? But it had a couple like the effect where he got shot out into the sky. I was like, that was something we don't see in a Twilight Zone episode, I was gonna say, like ever.
Definitely stands out.
Like that was a good effect.
My issue with the whole thing, I think, is that this is my own Twilight Zone, where I like want episodes to do screenwriting things, do stuff like establish the harmonica and then come back later, and like I like when there's like a strong premise that implies different stuff. Like if you run your mouth, something might you might end up in a situation that you're not prepared for.
There's a moral.
It's all interesting, right?
Which we haven't had in a little while.
But something in the execution, I was just like, I hate this episode so much.
I was like eating it up like a bowl of shit, just enjoying it.
Delicious bowl of shit.
Yeah, like when there was something that I was like, oh, this part was so amazing. Other than that, really that pull away effect, and I love that he didn't drop the drugs. They came with him. I was like, okay, that's pretty good.
When they're like walk down the road, and they're like, fuck it,
you won't be needing them. No, I thought like the payoff of him with the harmonica and them saying he wasn't good and him not being good, but that being like the death of these aliens. I didn't like the aliens' faces very much. I thought that part was a little odd.
They're weird, yeah.
I almost would have preferred if they would have just been like wearing black bandanas inside the mask, like seeing the eyes through those eye holes. I think if they were just black voids, I think it would have been more effective, because they look like skulls.
I remember having
but then it's like that's clearly a mask. I like the effect too when he punched a guy and it shatters.
Like a clay pot.
I thought there was like a couple of great effect-wise stuff in this episode.
The premise is great. This whole idea about him having to go there, right? And like in like a longer thing where you have more time to like develop it, you could do a lot of interesting stuff with that.
Sure.
Where he's like, because he could start to think like, oh, this is a good scam, and then they start saying stuff about how it's going to be once he's there, and then he's like, wait, no, I have to undo the whole thing somehow or whatever.
And all of us lucked out.
And then they could be like, okay, well, he's not that smart, but he's really good at lying, so maybe he'll be able to lie to our superiors. We can't. This is too embarrassing.
We can't admit that we fucked up.
Picked the wrong guy. So there's like a whole season of a TV show where it's like an alien coaching him and trying to be like, no, don't say that, say this. And it's this long.
Even when they were asking him questions about stuff, he wasn't actually answering anything.
No.
He was just kind of telling them about what he did, and they were just like, yeah, right, that's great, all right. And I don't know why they would be asking about they had to have known anything about Earth. It's weird. Like, we can't go to you, but you got to us, yet you want to learn things from our guys. It seems like a weird premise. Yeah. I thought it was going to be more of, we want to learn about your culture because we're coming to take it over. Like you are the best suited to tell us about things because we need to position ourselves for something. But that wasn't it. They just wanted to better their own society, which is a little strange.
I think they allude to the fact that he'll be in a cage or something like that.
No. Like, he says, and I'll be in a cage, and they're like, oh, no, well, you'll be confined. Right. I pictured he'd be in a nice, maybe in that human zoo. We'll see.
I was just going to say. It all loops back to the human zoo.
Yeah.
No. So what I didn't like, I guess, too, was that and Rod Serling even calls out the boy, the boy who cried wolf. Because when he gets home and starts, laying down this story and no one believes him, I'm like, oh no, is that going to be the whole point of this? Where he's like, there were aliens, I swear. Striders are sitting there right now. There was an alien right in my face, and I blew my harp, and it knocked him out.
But that did happen. But I don't think they would believe him anyway. And he even lied about what he was telling those stories. Like, they had one big eye. They didn't have one big eye. They had two eyes.
I didn't catch that. That's wonderful.
Yeah, so even when things happen to him, he lies. And I liked how he had called out when he was first telling the aliens that he is a liar. He was like, I don't embellish, I straight up lie.
I'm a liar.
But he was embellishing at the end, come the end. Maybe he's evolved. He's a little bit better as a person. But I think it would be fun to have a guy like that around.
Something interesting enough finally happened where he didn't need to make it out of whole cloth. Yeah, he could just add a little to it.
I've had some experiences with like these weird liars that are telling stories that you're like, well, that one doesn't make sense. That doesn't add to this and this and blah blah. And like, I'm the kind of idiot that's like, I will let you talk and not call you on it for a long time, but I'm secretly writing down on a post-it note
you're
all
like,
your conflicting
so how many
bullshit.
colleges did you go to, Janet? And she's like, oh, Stefan's always there when I'm telling these stories. No, numbers flying by, 47. Yeah.
So like, I enjoy that, but never were any of these stories entertaining. They were just like, they were just dumb.
In real life.
Oh yes, yes.
No, this guy has a nice charm to him, like you're saying.
Yes, they would always be like, but it would be in the same vein as this guy. We're like, oh, I did this job, I do this, I know how to do that, blah, blah, I fix cars, I'm a secret agent. And they're like, what?
Yeah, I had a substitute. So, like, when, like, your teacher gets pregnant and she leaves?
Yeah.
This happened to me in, like, 3rd or 4th grade or something like that, and we had this substitute for, like, half the year.
Okay.
And I forget his name, but he was literally, he would have all these stories, and he didn't teach us. He was this portly guy. He reminded me of the dude from Stargate, the, like, colonel guy or whatever.
Okay.
Or the
General
guy,
Hammond?
Or the guy from MacGyver, the colonel guy.
Okay.
And he would be like, well, when I was a tugboat captain in southern Sri Lanka, I happened upon a thing. And he would have all these and like, that's literal. He literally claimed to be a tugboat captain in southern Sri Lanka. Where I'm like, all right, and it was just this constant barrage of that. Every part of the lesson, he would just go off into like stories and like I've been there or I've met someone or something has happened or whatever.
I had a guy.
So I abducted him in a spaceship, and
I had a guy who said after work one day, he's like, oh, after work, I got to my car, I had a mission, and I'm like, what the hell does that mean? He goes, well, I turn the key and the GPS screen tells me what my mission is, and I had to go. And I'm like, what mission could you possibly have to do, assuming a thing like that could even exist, that would enable you to be back here for your shift the next day?
There was a guy in the garbage can, and he popped up and he said, "Agent, there's a mission for today."
That same guy once said,
"That's amazing.
Oh man, I really need it off tomorrow. Oh, I have plane tickets to Fiji." And then the manager goes, "You're working the next day, though, right?" He goes, "Yeah, I don't need that day off." And I'm like, "Well, what?" And then we looked up how long does it take to get to Fiji. And it's like, well, he potentially could fly through the night, get there for 1 hour, and fly directly back to make his shift. But I don't think that's going to happen.
He only has to do a mission, Stefan. It's going to take a very short amount of time.
Yeah, only have to pick up some drugs and get right back.
Yeah, he's just muling something. No, that's a good one.
Special kinds of crazy.
That's fun, though, because you could have fun with that. It's not like a mundane, like, oh, I was going to major in this, and I was 2 credits away, but then the president called me and said, like, we need you, or whatever, No,
I love specific crazy. I love especially when it's very call-outable and like that kid would say he was in the military, and then he would show up in the wrong type of fatigues.
Oh, he's stealing valor now. That's even worse.
Yes.
That's so bad.
Yep.
I like when the fun, crazy, stupid, bad crosses over into like, oh no, that's actually bad.
Oh, that's a crime.
He's just wearing drag and doing this or that or something, and it's like, oh no, that's like normal people would think that was bad. I'm just trapped in this room with this crazy person where everything's bad, but now he's doing things that are publicly bad.
Yes.
No, that's awful. I don't know anyone interesting or fun at my job. We just work.
I was saying how I was like, I might want a retaining wall one day in the front yard. He's like, I'm a landscaper. He's like, I have a company. I go, oh, do you have a card? No. I go, well, give me your number. I'll give him a call for an estimate. He goes, I'll just come by. And I almost wanted to hire him because I'm like, he drives a 2-door Civic. What's he gonna do? Haul stone? Like,
get him through the entire process and just stand there. Like, it's going good. Yeah. No, so I think we're hitting on it. Like, I hate bullshit artists and bullshit art, artistry or whatever.
Yes.
It has to be this type of like situation where where the character can be so endearing and so.
I think that comes with being older and
Southerny,
like fatter.
Older.
I think that just makes it for me.
Like fat old Southern has some weird he sounds like a broken accordion that you're squeezing and just air's coming out of. Like, he doesn't sound like a
but
human
there's at least like
it's
peppered
wonderful.
facts where like, oh, he does know who invented. Like, oh no, me and Gerald Ford and blah, like
me
something
and that peanut butter
fun
guy.
about it.
No, and like his ability to roll with it no matter what.
Yes.
Because people People were calling him out literally. You're a liar. They slapped him, and he's like, well, I don't think that was called for. I mean, I took 7 years of Krav Maga. I could knock your ass on it. He would just like go into it or whatever. Like he would never be like, okay, you got me. Like never. Like for years. Which is why all those dudes at the general store or whatever
especially
love him
at this time period when it's like, all right, we got nothing else. You are the TV. Like
and they can't and likewise they can't Google it to be like,
sure.
Wait a minute, University of Wichita in what year? I don't think so.
I don't know if you can look that up anyway.
I don't know.
I feel like they keep that shit private for no reason. But no, I see we differed though on the enjoyment levels of this episode.
But we agree with a lot of the substance of it, which is like the best way to do that. Whereas if someone's just like sucked, and then you're like, what? Yes. So at the end of the day,
because he maintained just to say like he never dropped it, even when he's being abducted by aliens. He's like, I've seen a bigger one. You were just floated through the air.
That should be
anything should make you break. It is that, and he's like, I've designed a bigger one than this for the U.S. government.
Exactly. Even when no one else is around.
Yeah.
Which is for the benefit of the audience, I guess. But yes, you were plucked, and like moved hundreds of feet away, and you're just like, a bunch of chumps. Like you're just like whatever.
No, it's a genius. I'm Ironheart Frisby.
That's what they call me. Fly through the air Frisby.
That one would have been great.
No, I literally this is one of my favorite, Twilight Zone characters ever. Just as an episode, I was not as into it. So
agreed.
There's a lot to enjoy here. I
want to see him go to that never-ending hell zone, from another episode, and have him deal with fats and make this a fun thing.
He's the antidote to a lot of the other people and characters on this show. I would like him to be like a recurring theme or something like that. Can I go back in time and do that?
That's pretty much the concept of this episode, though. That's everything that kind of happened. Let us know in the comments below what you thought about it. Don't die in a fire, and we'll see you next time.
Hello, internets. I just love watching JustDaggers. If you've enjoyed this video as much as I have, click that subscribe button. Peace out, homies.